Okay, welcome back everybody to the Endurance series in Motorsport Manager and the Fire mod. Hope you're all doing well this evening. And yeah, we'll get things underway then. So, of course, we're in Season 2 now. Round number 2. And we had a pretty good round 1 last time out. Taking 2nd and 4th. Obviously, early reliability is going to pay dividends here, so we want to make sure our car's as reliable as possible for the next round. But at the moment, we're leading the championship. But let's not forget, last season we made a great start, and we struggled late on, and ended up finishing 4th. So we need to make sure we keep on at this good start, keep developing the car as much as we can. Obviously, the car and the headquarters are where we're lacking at the moment. We've got great designers, great drivers, pretty good sponsors, and the pit crew's alright as well. And I run a few experiments in my single player one, and I really don't find any issue with doing this. And this is just going to be a huge thing off my mind. Obviously, it's dependent on the mechanic's skill, but one of our mechanics is not too bad at pit stops and concentration, so I'm happy just to hand that over, because I'm sick of having to manage these. I mean, it makes, especially in the endurance, it makes such a small difference to the pit stop time. I don't see any problem with doing that. So we're going to put that on auto for, I think, for all our series now. It's just another thing that we don't have to manage. I'm playing so much of this game in my free time, and for series, it's really getting a bit much having to manage that as well. So we'll let them manage it. Obviously, if there's any sort of pressing issues, or we see a definite downturn in the times or an increase in mistakes, then obviously we can take that back over. But for now, we're going to leave it at that. So let's get on with the stuff we've got to do before the next race. Obviously, we're blessed in this championship of being able to develop parts pretty quickly. In having a large gap between races, so it's a bit easier to develop parts. So we're lacking quite a few areas. I think while we've got some money, extra money that is, we'll go for the big ticket items. Our engine and gearbox are struggling. I think we'll start with our gearbox, as it is our lowest part. So I've noticed this a lot recently. You get some of the designers that just have nothing good for average, or some of the parts you just don't get any good average slots. Obviously, plus 15% reliability isn't really very helpful, but it's the upgrades further down the line, and you do get a small increase in performance over the base parts. So we'll get that building, and it'll probably be ready just before the race, but obviously we won't be able to get it ready in terms of reliability until the race after that, but that's not a problem. At least we can get them building. Evening Fox, how you doing, my friend? Hope you've had a good week and you're having a good Sunday. Welcome along. So yeah, we just need to get this sort of base level reliability up for all these parts until obviously we can replace them, which will be quite a long way down the line, I'm sure. We'll keep the focus on reliability for the first couple of races, I think. But we still want to increase the performance a little bit if we can. I will stop increasing the performance on the gearboxes though, as that's what we're obviously upgrading next. There's a few gains to be had about the place. Let's go for the nose, shall we? And we'll come back to this reliability when we can. I have switched the latency of the streams back to normal, just to increase the quality a little bit. I wasn't happy with the slight drop in performance in terms of the quality of the picture. And obviously, with the designing of the car gone, it's not quite as important to get messages back straight away, so just bear that in mind for the stream. Right, progress going okay. Let's switch these 70s over to the minimums. Do a little bit of work on the suspension, and then we'll probably switch 2 slots to the engine, as it's pretty important. And carry on going. So yeah, I think third should still be our target. I don't think we're going to be able to overhaul Porsche and Toyota in the long run, but obviously we'll do the best job we can. Right, switch over to the engine. Just switch that gearbox over to the brakes as well. And obviously a lot of the endurance is about strategy as much as it is the performance of the car as well. So I feel we can always make up a bridge in performance, but we just need to keep improving it. I'm pretty happy with our drivers for the rest of the season, so hopefully all our money can go into the car. And obviously we have unfortunately lost a little bit of money per month with all these drivers we've got. I'm sure we could be making quite a bit more money than this, but yeah, we got to have our XF1 team. That was the brief, so that's what we'll do. Increased marketabilities to Nelson Piquet. He's on the party circuit. Good lad. As long as he doesn't do it the night before a race, then I don't mind too much. Performance work now finished in the factory, so we can change those over. Webber wants a better car. Cooling issue. Well, no brainer really. We're going to have to make that. We got the money to do so it's not too much of a problem. Switch that performance over then to the rear wing and the suspension. Reliability, we can probably go back to the suspension now. Everything looking pretty decent, to be honest. So we can probably go back to 1010 in terms of performance and reliability. And we're pretty much good to go. Say that gearbox will be built just before, but won't quite be ready for the race. But obviously we'll get the new one started and switch the reliability over to that one. And build another gearbox. We'll go for the plus 40. And get that built. Just give us a nice little bit of gain. And we're ready to go then for round number 2. And so I've got a feeling making sure the car sees the check flag is going to be the most important thing here. But it'll be interesting to get another read of where our car is in terms of pace. And I think as per usual, 6 is probably the most important tyre of the lot. That gearbox isn't going to be ready. No, there's no point risking that. So it'll be the same cars as last time. And we'll get underway then. How's your week been, Fox, anyway? And what the weather's like over there. We've had some Arctic conditions over here. A ton of snow. It's very unusual for us. I know you're quite used to it over there. But it's not something we're used to by any means. I think we'll go slightly towards Rosberg instead of Kubica. We'll go for Piquet and Trummer again. I think Webber's neck is back to normal, so we shouldn't have too many problems with fitness this time around. Yeah, a little bit quicker than last time. It was a bit of a monumental episode last time. It was one of the longest streams I've done for quite a while. It's quite draining, that one, but I enjoyed it. It was nice to be able to build the car with other people having an influence on it. Which so I'm considering maybe doing for Haas between season 2 and 3 when we get there, because people did want that last time. So I might do that. Right, we'll send them out on race trim. We'll send Webber and Trummer. Out they go. It's been a decently warm week. Ah, lucky you. We've had we've had an awful lot of snow this week. Not quite so much down south as they do up north. An awful lot up north. And the thing with snow in this country is we're not prepared for it at all. So when it comes, everything just sort of shuts down because it happens so rarely. It's the first sort of major snow hitting the entire country for about 4 years. And our infrastructure and the ways of clearing the roads and dealing with it just aren't there. so everything just sort of shut down for the week. But and now we've got 2 weeks of rain, so there's loads of flood warnings, so that's great. But fortunately in the south we're generally okay. Right, an okay start for the setup then. We'll put Kubica in the car for the second run. I always get confused because there's an extra menu. I shouldn't do, really. Right, handling, speed balance. Try them generally in the middle. And I'll send them out for a couple of laps this time to get a bit more information. I'll put PK in the car second time round. I'm a little unsure on D'Ambrosio. He did a great job last time. The good thing with D'Ambrosio, he's not the strongest of drivers, but they don't have to be in this championship, as we're finding out, because you've got 3 of them. Good thing about D'Ambrosio is his stamina. That was really helpful last time, and I think there's going to be a lot of times that he can do a full hour and 12-minute stint, which is a real get-out-of-jail-free card, I think. It's good that we've got that with one of our drivers. It just means if someone's struggling or we need to do an extra long stint to make sure we get one less stop in the competition, then we can do that. I always thought snow always happened there. Every movie that takes place in England is like a feat of snow. Harry Potter for one. Yeah, it's quite rare, to be honest. Obviously places like Scotland and Wales get quite a bit when we do get it, and the rest of the country generally gets none. Because we're an island, anywhere sort of within 30-40 miles of the coast generally doesn't get much unless it's a big storm, because of the salt in the air. It doesn't lay the snow. So it was a sufficiently big storm this time around for it actually to lay everywhere, and I think Scotland got up to sort of 40-50 centimetres this time, which for here is a lot. But no, it's become more and more of a rarer occurrence. Yeah, I think there used to be quite a lot, but I think that sort of misconception that England always has snow is from the Charles Dickens novel A Christmas Carol. And the fun fact about that is that when he wrote that, there wasn't actually any snow about it. It was from his childhood, from when there was snow. But it's actually very rare. But I think that's where this conception in films and movies of there being snow in England comes from. Saying that Harry Potter is a lie. Yeah, pretty much. We do get snow, but not much. It's possible that during that time when Harry Potter was set there was some snow. We do get some, but just not very often. And yeah, that book. Right, better on the setups. Got a few laps under our belt with Kubica, so we'll send our main man Nico Rosberg out. Super impressed with how well he did last time, and I'm sure once even a small improvement to the car, Rosberg and Webber and Kubica in this car can do great things. So I'm really happy with this driver pairing. The other one just really has to be a bit cheaper and a bit less good, purely for money purposes. If we start winning championships or start getting up near the front and get some good prize money, then we can probably get some better drivers in for the second team. But we need to keep the cost down at the moment, considering how much we're paying Webber and Rosberg in particular. Right. Handling and downforce are probably this way a little bit more. Speed balance that way. Okay, let's give that a go and give D'Ambrosio a good few laps. Same as PK. Same as Rosberg. You actually don't like Harry Potter at all. They made magic so. I'm afraid I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. I grew up with the books. When the books were coming out, I was always, nearly without exception, I was always the same age as Harry. I definitely was in the first one. So they were always the same age as me, which was, I think, why I affiliated with it so much. But I'm a huge fan of it. So, what I would like to, if there was a Dragon Age type wizard movie, that would be cool. I've always thought, you always get these weird thoughts to yourself. You think, if I just write a book or a movie, if I ever did it, it would be an adult, like, magical world. sort of like Harry Potter, but gritty and adult, like an 18 R-rated movie. I think that would be pretty fun. But let's be honest, you know, Harry Potter, even though there's hundreds of adults like my age that love it, it was a kids thing at the time, wasn't it? So it couldn't be too gritty. I think there's plenty of stuff like Dragon Age out there. I mean, Lord of the Rings isn't far off. Evening, Greg. We're chatting about whatever. You know, it's a relaxed Sunday stream. This one. It's the end of the week, and unfortunately, just 12 hours before back to work. But just relaxing, talking about whatever, man. If we want to talk about Harry Potter rather than endurance, this is practice, you know. I guess. Okay, let's talk a bit about it. Rosberg showing good pace. Car number 1 right up there with the. Just gone P1 actually on those soft tyres, so we're looking good. Only 0.7 of a second between the entire field though, shows that this field is very close indeed, and shows why strategy is so important. I know, we're all enjoying it, but yeah, Motorsport Manager is I guess why we're here. Burned at the stake. Yep, there is it's quite a good movie. I think it's called Black Death, which is about witch hunting. Got Sean Bean in it. I guess you probably guess what happens. That's quite good. But yeah, I would definitely like this kind of whole blockbuster Magic World that had an adult theme, but they just never get the funding for it. I think that's the problem. Sort of an R-rated one. They either have to be sort of very condensed stories or a superhero movie. You can't. It's very difficult to get a mixture of the two. Right, much better on the setup. So let's put Webber in the car. Soft and race trim, it's pretty much maxed out. So we'll go qualifying, and we normally go with medium tyres. But we only ever normally pick race trim and soft tyres. So I think maybe we'll try super softs to get some practice in for qualifying, just see how far up the order we can get our cars to start. Be interesting to see the pace of the car. We've got some little boosts as well. That is Salem Witch Trials. Yeah, well, I know, but I'm sorry, Magic's not real. That's as gritty as it gets. I thought it was quite a good movie. Let's put Trauma back in the car. Downforce. Poor. Okay, so we need to go back the other way on that one. I have, by the way, as I've been playing a lot of it. I've probably played 60-70 hours on my own the last couple of weeks, and I have actually got another 200% set up since then. So I now well and truly believe that it's possible. It's just because I was always playing it for stream or for videos. I never really played enough of it to see it often enough. Shh, it's not real, Fox. I'm sorry. Or is it? It's like the Magic Circle. You're not allowed to ever reveal how any of it's done. And the reason for that is because it's actual magic. Right, we sent Trauma back out on the soft tyres. That was a bit of a mistake. Let's bring him straight back in. I know, I got a couple 100% setups. I'm proud. Made very little difference to the actual performance when you get 95 or 100. But it's a nice feeling to get, I guess. Who's got low form? Let's put PK back in the car. Let's rectify this, change back to some qualifying practice. I wonder what you guys think. I was thinking the other day, I think there's a mod, I need to check it out, but I think there's a mod of the 2005 F1 season. So you've got all the greats, like Schumacher, Alonso, Coulthard. I think Hackman's still kicking about somewhere. Button in his prime. I was wondering about maybe doing a series on that. Maybe only once a week. I know I'm doing a lot of Motorsport Manager series at the moment, but I thought that'd be quite cool to go back to the heyday. I was thinking maybe a sort of Jenson Button challenge, as he's my hero, trying to get him to win the World Championship before he actually did in real life, 2009, and get that Honda team to win before they became Brawn. I thought that'd be quite interesting, but I wonder what you guys would think. It would be something a little different, but I also need to check out the mod because I don't know how good it is. Also, the issue with adult theme movies is the sex scenes and romantic subplots. They're all basically 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, I think that's partly Game of Thrones' fault as well as 50 Shades of Grey. They always need to have this shocking level of nudity in it, which it works in Game of Thrones because it's Game of Thrones, but in other TV shows and movies, you can very obviously tell when it's been put in. So that's a big difference. Yeah, I do need to check that out, Greg. That's true. I've got so caught up in this. What's happened to Webber's car? Oh, it's stopped. We've ended the session. That'd be why. I do want to check it out. I've got so into my own mod, and as you might have noticed, if you do watch anything on the gaming channel, I'm now, for the last week at least, been doing a video a day on both channels, so it's quite a lot of work. I also had some job interviews this week. I start a new job week on Monday, which is going to limit my time, but I will definitely try and get a player for it this week, I promise. Yeah, 100 series, and I don't know. It's the series it's the game that everybody watches on the channel, and there's a lot of racing type stuff I want to do in sim games, but it's so time consuming. It's like the F1 series. I need like a 6-hour period to do an episode, and with time getting more and more of a constraint, it's difficult to. So I thought maybe another Motorsport Manager series in the meantime would be quite a good idea, because it's something I know, something I can do relatively quickly, and it's something everybody enjoys watching on the channel. So I'll take a look into the mod, and I will definitely play yours, Greg, I promise. And thank you. I'm happy to be starting a new job. It's going to be a challenge, but that's the point, isn't it? Challenging yourself. Right, super soft and qualifying trim. We did get a little benefit this time, so we'll see how well our cars can do. Happy with everything else. Setups look good, so let's get our boys out there. We'll start with Webber. I wonder if, as long as the weather's going to be okay, I'm worried about that little dip, so I might not do it this time. I've been wondering about sending them out a bit later, so we don't have to waste so many sets of Super Softs doing free runs. So obviously the guys that go out there at the beginning don't have the best track conditions, which is why we normally resend them at the end. But looks like there might be rain on the way, so that's probably not a good idea this time round. Yes, it's something completely different. Yeah, so basically I've had run a small business for my dad the last 8 years, but unfortunately we've got optimization off. Oh well, we're going to resend them again anyway. Small business for my dad, and unfortunately that's come to an end. It's just not a viable prospect anymore, so I'm starting as an apprenticeship at an IT company, being an IT infrastructure technician. Obviously I have a great interest in computers. It's a great company that really value apprenticeships. I didn't think I'd ever be starting an apprenticeship at 26. I am now, but I think it's a good time to do it. It's something I'm not going to be able to do in 4 or 5 years, and it's an industry that I'm really enthusiastic about, so I'm looking forward to it. There you go, there's a little bit of insight into my life. Okay, have those laps gone in yet? They have. 34.5 from Trummer, 35.4 from Webber. So some of that might have been because we forgot to set the auto on, so they weren't warmed up properly. But very good lap from Trommer anyway. Right up there at the head of the field, so it'll be interesting to see if car 2 can maybe do a little bit better this time out. Right, Sam Rosberg. There is unfortunately rain, so we've probably scuffed up the chances for car number 1 with that Webber lap. Hopefully Rosberg can pull something out of the bag to really improve us. Young pup. Might a bit younger than you, Greg. I do still consider myself young. It's just starting an apprenticeship at 26 is quite unusual in this country. Definitely a lot older than a lot of the other apprentices there, from what I've seen. Yeah, it was a great lap from Trummer. Obviously our only surviving member of the old team. He impressed me last year. I mean, obviously he's going to have to go eventually because of the rules. But I think he'll be a good driver to have for this season, as he's already got contracts as well. Okay, good. Slight difference then. I won't go on about feeling old again any longer. Right, so Rosberg, sorry, puts in a stunning lap, 33.7. I think, looking through, that's actually the best time of anybody. So, great pace from Rosberg and earning his bucks. And even, well, PK did a 35.5, so not brilliant for him. I've got a feeling we forgot to turn auto on again, though. I think it stays on, though. I might have forgotten again. Getting distracted with life talk here. But there's some great laps. I mean, it's going to be wet till the end of the session, so third and fifth is where we'll stay. And maybe we should put Rosberg and Trummer in the same car based on those times. But that's an incredible time from Rosberg, and shows with a little bit of boost we've got some great speed in this car, especially with Rosberg on board. He's probably the best driver in this championship by quite a distance, so that could really help us out. What is a friendship? I'm going to say that. Do you mean apprenticeship? I might have been saying it muddled. Or did I accidentally say friendship at some point? I don't know. Okay, we'll take that. Third and fifth. Brendan Hartley puts his Porsche on P1 though. Porsche again have got great speed this season. They just don't have race pace. They don't have a great race car to have the edge there. So it just shows you endurance racing. Doesn't matter if you have the quickest car. But we managed to so it goes Porsche Toyota Manor, Porsche Manor Toyota. On the basis of qualifying pace, we're right up there with the two big boys, but whether we can do that again on race day, we'll have to see. Yes, yeah, I was saying apprenticeship. Friendship. I've started a friendship. That's what I call a job. Apprenticeship's basically a paid training program. So you have a job and you learn skills for a qualification alongside it, but you're, unlike going to college or university, you're paid a little bit less than a working wage, so you're still paid well for your time as though it's a job, but getting qualifications alongside. Right, soft tyres and race trim for the race then, and now we must concentrate because this is where we can't make mistakes. Right, I think we will start. I think maybe we'll start with our best foot forward this time. We tried it the other way around last time. It did work out fairly well, to be fair. But let's see how well Rosberg can do in his first stint. So the tyres are going to last an awful lot longer this time. So potentially, well, I say a double stint, but there's no real point considering the drivers can't do much longer. Soft tyres are going to do 73 to 76 minutes, so I think we'll just go with soft tyres and we'll go full on fuel, and we'll just have to use the hybrid mode a lot, I think. We'll go with the same car 2, we might as well stick to the same strategy, I think. We'll start a little bit weaker in car 1, I think. Well, we could put D'Ambrosio on and see how far he can go, just in case the super softs don't last as advertised. We could try the mediums on that car and just see if he can get that 1 hour 12 minutes again, and it'll set us up really well. There's rain. I should always check that. Rain inside. It's still about 40 minutes in though, so we'll go soft tyres and full on fuel just to make sure we get to that rain, I guess. Much better than unpaid, yeah, for sure. For sure, yeah. When you're 17, 18, an unpaid apprenticeship is okay, but when you're used to having a wage, you can't really go down to nothing and start again. Best overtakers, I don't know off the top of my head. I never quite remember how we check on this screen. I'm just going to say who we've got. I think we'll be okay with those two. I think the strategy. I think, thinking about it though, how do I go back to drivers? I don't think I can now that I've set them up, can I? Oh, we go on here, you idiot. You idiot. I think maybe car number 2, D'Ambrosio might be wasted if there's rain coming because he can't do the full hour 12 minutes. Just check through the car setup. But I can't. I can't get stats on the drivers, can I? No, I didn't. Yeah, you can't once you go into the weekend. I think we went over this when the endurance series started. Right, let's put PK in the car then, because again, I think D'Ambrosio will be a bit wasted because if the rain's coming, he's not going to be able to do the full stint. And we'll start once again attacking and then dial it back. But we'll try and have a strong first stint with both cars. I didn't think you could in base game either, but maybe you can. Okay, let's get underway. I don't seem to remember being able to do it in the base game, no. But I don't know. Maybe it's something I'll check next time in the menu. Make sure I've got that stat available. We shouldn't need overtaking, to be fair, early on. It's normally after we've pitted that we need the overtakers, because that's when you go back behind traffic. So we shouldn't really need it. Okay, getting ready to get underway then. Hope Rosberg can have a good start from P3, maybe get in amongst those Porsches, the Porsche and the Toyota even. But we are underway, and he's got to play straight away to 4th. And the other Porsche is looking to get past them. They're looking okay at the moment. PK dropping back considerably though. I think he's made a mistake there. We'll go to neutral and high for the moment, as I think we should easily be clear on rain as long as we use the hybrid mode. So I think we'll stay pushing for the first couple of laps so the engine and gearbox is okay. Yeah, similar to internships. I mean, it's a government scheme over here, apprenticeships, so they're very different. So a lot of other countries, because they're government funded, a lot of the wages are subsidised by the government to get people into trades or into industries that need jobs. They're really an alternative to college and university, so you can go straight into work and work from 16 in an apprenticeship and start learning the job whilst being paid. We have trade schools as well at college. You can still train to be those things. It's just a different route, and generally a route taken by people sort of past university age. But it's just a different route really that we offer in this country, and say it's government subsidised. Right, so looking okay. I mean, obviously both our drivers are struggling because they're on the soft tyre. That's not helped particularly, but if we're very lucky, which we never normally are, but we might be today, then that rain might come just after all the super soft runners pit. We'll have to wait and see. But as long as we keep the tyres in good shape, we can probably come back at them later. I think we'll stay on push for the moment, just to try and keep up with their early pace. Should neutralise some of the advantage. Let's just use a bit of the hybrid mode for now. But this is what happened last race. It wasn't looking good last time. I think we just have to stick to our strategy, stick to our guns, and not worry too much about where we are early on. As long as we're sticking generally to the pack, then we should be able to recover it later on. It's just about making the right strategy calls today in terms of the weather. Very difficult to predict with this, where the timings are, because obviously it's over 3 hours rather than the normal sort of half an hour race or lap based race. It's always difficult to judge where the rain's going to come. It looks unlikely the soft tyre runners are going to run out of rubber, but we might be able to come back at them towards the end of the stint when our tyres are much fresher. Government subsidies, because government knows better than you how to spend your money. There is a severe lack of a service, and that is the only way. To be honest, it's one of the very few good things the British government does, apprenticeships. It gets people into trades whilst having them decently paid for it. And the main point of it is not to encourage apprenticeships for the person taking it. It's to encourage companies to take people on, because they're not having to cough up all of the wages they're paying. Luckily, the one I'm doing, the company I'm doing it with, nearly all of their employees have come through apprenticeships, so there's a high chance of a job afterwards, almost certain chance of a job afterwards, which is the main thing. But yes, while everything else is unfunded in this country, at least apprenticeships is a good thing. It's a good thing from my point of view, anyway. Right, we're starting to drop away from that field ahead, but again, a lot of this is tyre based. We're only 15 seconds off the lead still, so it's not all doom and gloom. Tyres holding up well, both drivers. Well, actually, Rosberg has done his fired up stage. PK's is still to come, so hopefully that can get him closer to the back of the field. I think we're going to be easily fine on fuel, so we maybe overfueled our cars a bit much, but I wasn't too sure when the rain would come. Now, endurance, the crossover is a bit wider, so we've got to wait a couple more laps, I think, before the rain. And the decision we really need to make now is whether we keep these drivers in the car or whether we switch them over. Now, the intermediates are likely to last over an hour, well over an hour, and if the rain lasts for over an hour, I think we need someone fresh in the car that can do an hour. So I think we will swap the drivers, and if we're going to be refueling the cars, we're going to have a free driver change anyway, so we may as well. But we can definitely use these boosts now, as we don't need to save any extra fuel. We're not going to have to refuel too much as well, which will help us out. So let's just leave it a few more laps. As I say, crossover's very different in endurance. Not quite sure why, but it tends to be a lot more gradual, I guess, just to help with the game, the way the game feels and runs. PK is right in his fired up stage as Rosberg gets passed by 2 cars. So we've made this mistake before, we've jumped a bit early and it's really not worked out for us, so we just need to stick to our guns for the moment. We can probably attack on these tyres though, because they haven't got very far to go. As the engine and gearbox is looking, they're dropping a bit quicker than normal, but we need to try and stay up with the group if we can. Everybody's just gone in, so we probably hit them this time around, and these 2 drivers will have about 40 minutes to do at the end of the race then, if we need it, which I'm sure we will. So let's put the guys with the best stamina. I know he's a great driver, but stamina, I would imagine, is the issue for Kubica, so it amazes me that he's got the highest of almost any of our drivers. Let's go on to intermediates then. I don't think we need much more fuel if we're going to be doing an hour. Let's go up to say 30. I really don't know how much we'll need, to be fair. Let's send him back out, and then we'll have to bring PK in at the lap afterwards then. So we're not doing too much damage to the cars by attacking. Right, in he comes. We'll bring PK in this time round. We'll put D'Ambrosio in the cart, and he should be able to hopefully do over an hour. I think this rain is going to be here for at least an hour, hopefully. So again, we'll go up to 30 laps of fuel. With a bit of saving, that should be fine. Bit of hybrid mode, sorry. Yeah, Rosberg gets, Kubica gets back out nicely before the next car is due in. Right, let's go back to neutral on the tyres because we need these to last if they can. We'll keep it on push though, because I feel our engine gearbox level should be fine, and by using a hybrid we should be able to save enough fuel to stay on push for most of the race. Right, hopefully no mistakes this time round. Of course, we put this all on auto manage now, so there's a mistake, then we know they're not doing their job, but perfect. Out comes D'Ambrosio. He's going to be fired up right from the beginning. We will still keep it on neutral though to save those tyres, and we'll push though as we can. He's come out about the same distance behind Kubica, but I think pitting a couple of laps later was definitely the right thing to do, because we jumped a couple of positions and we're right back up with the main group. Now, quite a few people using aggressive engine modes and pushing, but this is what helped us out last time by not having to make too many repairs. So I think we'll go on the same strategy here. But let's use this hybrid early on. Let's get a bit of saving in, and then we get a bit of an idea of how far we can go. And we'll just settle in. So Kubica's now nicely fired up. See if he can make some progress. Now there's no tyre difference, we'll see our true race pace. Hopefully we can get back involved. Everybody looking forward to the F1 season in a few weeks. Finally back up and running. It's going to be interesting. Really good feeling about Ferrari this year. And I think Red Bull were hiding quite a bit. There's a lot of insider knowledge that Red Bull were a lot quicker than they appeared in testing. So I think those three are really going to close up. But Mercedes did look ominous on the timesheets again, but they do every year. Not soon enough, yeah, absolutely. How does the timing work out for the first race of UFOX? Obviously Australia, the other side of the world, so is it in the middle of the night, the first race? Because it's in the morning for us, so I guess it must be in the middle of the night for you. Must be a strange time. Yeah, I think there's a lot of progress to be made this year with the cars. They're going to be quicker as always. Lots of new tyres this year to get on to grips with. It's going to be interesting to see. All the drivers said the halos aren't bothering them, but it'll be interesting to see, you know, in big accidents and stuff, how they really do affect the drivers. Because I'm sure there's still a lot of question marks there. Been watching some NASCAR to bide the time. I was almost watched Daytona 500 the other week. I couldn't find somewhere to find it quick enough, and I gave up. But I will try and watch some NASCAR this year. I don't think I've ever watched a race. I've seen highlights of them, but I mean I've watched a few old races because who was it? I think I watched the 2 lower series races that Kimi Raikkonen did years ago during his little break. I found those quite interesting, so I'll definitely try and watch some. 1 AM to 3 AM, definitely not watching live. Yeah, that's tricky. I always have so little. It's going to be difficult because because my new job is going to be Monday to Friday rather than working at weekends, so I should be okay. I'm normally very sleep deprived the opening weekend because I stay up for the opening practice session, which is Friday morning. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that this year with my new job. But yeah, I'm normally really sleep deprived because the first weekend I want to watch every session live, but they're stupidly early in the morning. That sounds familiar, the Busch series. Whichever series he did, it was like a junior NASCAR series or the series down. He did okay in them, to be fair. He did do okay. Quite interesting seeing Kimi doing some NASCAR. Can't imagine what NASCAR fans would think of Kimi when he does the interviews and stuff. Not exactly your normal charismatic out there American driver. Right, I think the best thing for us to do with this charge is to wait till it gets to 100%. To let the fuel burn down as much as possible before we save it, because obviously if we save it now we're going to end up with more fuel on the car for longer, if that makes sense. And the lower the fuel level, the least effect it's going to have on the car. Kubica holding on to the back of, let's have a look through the order then, shall we? So we've got Toyota Kobayashi, followed very closely by Lotter in the Porsche. So Porsche seems to have the race pace this time. Barthez in the TDS Racing, the ex-French international goalkeeper, is in P3 amazingly, followed by Singtech. Both the Singtech cars. The other TDS Racing, so they're having a good race this time. Then I presume we've got a Rebellion either side of us. Oh, we've got Porsche behind us, Senna. Then a Toyota. Then a Rebellion then. So I'd expect this group to maybe close up between 3rd and 12th. So there's plenty of racing still to have. We stand a good chance of getting a good result here. Everybody's still in touch, as I say, apart from those first 2 cars. And Barthez is a long way out with TDS, but I'd expect him to come back towards the pack at some point. So it's all shaken up by the rain. My dad didn't remember him, and he was a big fan of NASCAR back in the day. Okay. I'm not surprised. He did like 2 races, I think, in 2010. When was his first season back with Lotus? 2011. I think it was 2009 or 2010 off the top of my head. Right, a few more cars coming in then. Interested to see. They are putting on the wet, so I wonder what they were going to do about that. I don't think the rain is... Well, the rain's definitely not going to get heavy enough, and it's not going to stay out for long enough for that to be a wise decision. So I think we will stay on the inters for the moment. They're running a little cool, but hopefully once the rain picks back up again... drops back off again, they should come back up to temperature, so we won't react too much now, but let's get those hybrid modes in. He ran in the Bursch Nationwide and trucks. Okay, that'll be it. Like one race each, and then deals fell through. 2011. Okay. So it's 2012 is first season back, or were you saying that 2011 was his first season back? No, 2011 they were still Renault, weren't they? Maybe. Now they were Lotus, but they had Petrov and Heifeld. Was Heifeld still there in 2011? Then in 2012 it went to Raikkonen and Petrov. Can't remember. Anyway, we're currently first and second. Everybody has come in for wet tyres, but I think it's definitely worth holding on. Because we can clearly see that rain is going to start dropping back off again, and this could be a big advantage to us. 2012 was his return, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it was. I kind of preferred Kimi when he was at Lotus. He was a bit more aggressive and adventurous because he was effectively the team leader. I think Ferrari have neutralised him so much, and that's why he knows he's a second fiddle driver, and that's what's lost his edge, I think. But I think Ferrari have got to replace him next year if they ever want to win the constructors again. They've got to replace him. I think they could have even won it last year if they hadn't have had Kimi. You put a Ricciardo or a Verstappen in that car. Then I think you've got a World Championship winning car, because I think that car was quicker last year, personally. Right, the guys with the wet tyres are coming back at us. Kubica is still leading by about just under 5 seconds, but that gap is closing quickly. I don't really want to push on these tyres until the rain backs back off again. I want to keep them in as good condition as we can. I think we're going to have to stop again for intermediates. Possibly. Obviously we pitted when the rain started. We're now about halfway through that rain, so it'll be close. It depends how quickly we go back to intermediate conditions. So, and we'll see whether Kubica can hold off the Toyota of Conway until the rain backs off again, and then we should be a pit stop ahead. Theoretically, or we just stay where we are, but we're definitely right back in this race, and it's definitely the right thing to stay out. Yeah, we were losing enough time, a lot of time, sorry, but it's just about holding off again. The clerk. What? As in hiring him? Or is that just a random outpouring of love for Leclerc? Or have I missed something? All of those explanations are possible. Right. Kubica's doing it, you know. He's just about holding off. Fuel is going to be the issue, but we should have one more harvest session before. I don't think we're going to get to that rain, and it looks like that rain's going to pick up back up again, so it doesn't matter. If we can do another 20 minutes odd in the car. So this is how it should go, hopefully. These guys stay about until around an hour into their stints. We then put Webber and Trummer in the car, and they do around an hour. And then Rosberg and our other driver, Nelson Piquet Jr., can then finish off their stints. They've got about 40 minutes left to do. So I think we should be good here, and we should theoretically be around about a pit stop up, because these guys are coming in a bit too early just to do one more stop. So I think the whole field is going to have to do 2 more stops after that, and that's what we're planning to do as well. And I think because of that advantage that stop has given us, there's no real need to warm the tyres up. Oh, for the Ferrari race seat, of course. Sorry, I'm with you. He's definitely being prepped for it, and that may well be why they're waiting with keeping Raikkonen in the car for the moment. A lot is going to depend on Leclerc's performance with Alfa Sauber this year and how good that car is. If it's running around at the back again, it's very difficult for them to make an impression. I think we will just bring these temperatures up quickly if we can, just to get a few more laps out of these tyres. And let's do one more hybrid save. Because a very similar thing happened with Wehrlein, obviously. He's had to go back to DTM, but he was in a car that had no real competition. And obviously you've always got your teammate, but to drive for someone like Ferrari, you've got to show up against drivers from other teams that you can perform. I think that's the real danger for Leclerc. If that Sauber comes back towards the midfield, which it should do this year, and he can race with sort of the likes of Haas and Toro Rosso, then he's got much more of a chance to prove himself. But I think Ferrari so rarely take a gamble on a young talent. They've got to prove themselves quite considerably in Formula 1. So I think Ricciardo could be weighed up as a good decision next year, because there's a very good chance he'll leave Red Bull if he doesn't sign the contracts in the first couple of months of this season. So I think Ricciardo is the perfect fit. The only problem is whether Vettel wants to drive with Ricciardo, considering their time together. Right, stamina starting to prove a little bit of an issue, and considering these are the 2 drivers with the best stamina, I think we'll push through. We've got so much time. If they do make a small mistake, hopefully we don't lose too much time. Engine and gearbox proving a little issue now as well, so I think we'll stay on medium for the rest of the stint. If we can see out the end of these tyres, another 4 or 5 laps, another 7 or 8 minutes, then we'll be bang on target for the strategy. Okay, Greg, speak to you in a minute, mate. Right, the only issue is going to be that brief period of drying weather. I think we can probably push through it with intermediates if the rain is going to stop. So I don't think that's going to be too much trouble. We should probably come in this time around. Now, Rosberg has already recovered most of his stamina. I'm wondering if we maybe put these guys in first, just in case the weather changes in the last hour. But if it changes in the last half an hour, then no, I think we'll stick with our original strategy. We'll put Webber in the car. We will go for intermediates, obviously, again. We'll go again for 30 laps, because that seemed to work quite well with some fuel saving. That's around about an hour. Car looks okay. If we have to make any quick repairs in the final stop, we will do. It seems to be, Greg. It seems to be. It depends what happens during that little period. Because there's definitely enough time for for dry running in that little gap. But hopefully staying on intermediates would be the right thing. The issue is going to be if it dries out before sort of 35-40 minutes. Because then we're going to be in a bit of a problem that we can't put these 2 drivers in time, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I think we'll have to risk it. Right, intermediates and 30 laps. Maybe a couple less, because we're not going to be pushing now, because we've got a nice advantage, and our engine and gearbox, I don't really want to have to make any repairs if we can help it. So we'll let the hybrid system build back up again, and then we'll save some fuel later in the race. Yeah, there should be plenty of water. It's difficult. As I say, endurance generally plays out a bit different, but they shouldn't be massively slower during that period. And I don't think the AI will go on to dries, which is the important thing. We definitely don't need to be pushing on these though. Come on guys, we know best than this. Yeah, I don't want to say anything. It's looking good. I'm pretty sure the AI are going to have to make 2 more stops, because I don't think they're going to be able... Well, they might. If they can get another half an hour out of those inters, then they might only have to make 1 more stop. But we have fresher tyres now, and if it dries out, if we're incredibly lucky, and it looks like it, it's going to dry out at the exact moment we need to swap to our final drivers, in which case the AI will have to stop again for dries. So I think we're a pit stop up. That's it, the 45-minute mark. Now we need to take a quick look then. So our drivers are going to be able to do about 42-43 minutes for PK. And a little bit more, maybe close to 45 for Nico. So if these drivers can get an hour out of the car and it dries out at that exact moment, then this could be absolutely perfect. If not, we're still 6th and 7th with fresh tyres, so we can still definitely do some damage hopefully going forward, and we can always maybe not on car number 1. On car number 2 we've got a bit of time that we can push at the end on fuel. Engine obviously the worry, but it should be okay. Is it going to dry out? I think it is. I think we're going to be incredibly lucky, and it's going to dry out at that exact moment then. So we'll just let our boys do their thing for the moment. That TDS car is still second. It needs repairs, but it's still second. So we have Toyota, TDS, Porsche, TDS again. TDS. How old is this guy? Collard. He looks 50 odd. They must have the oldest team on the grid. This team. Negreo for Signtech in 5th, and quite a way back. Then we got the other Porsche, Signtech. There must be another Toyota back here. There is. Rebellion, Toyota, and the other Rebellion. So I don't mind losing points to TDS if we're going to be gaining points on the likes of Porsche, Signtech and Rebellion. So, although the 2 Signtechs are ahead of us, but we'll see. Looking good. Tyres still pretty cold. And I do wonder when the dry tyres are going to be quicker. It's pretty much ready for dry tyres. So we'll have to wait and see what the AI do, really. That's going to be the deciding factor. I don't really want to push on these cars because we're on these tyres because we're right up against the limit as it is. But let's use that hybrid mode then and get some fuel saved. Evening Humbrian, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you're having a good Sunday. They took my Jansen philosophy and hired their grandpas. I guess so. I didn't mean it literally, but maybe it's a good idea. Maybe we should start getting some old legends. What's Prost up to? And Lauda. Let's get Prost, Lauda, Coulthard. Alan Jones. He can probably just about squeeze into one car. Andretti. Let's get him over. Let's do it. I'm sure there's a Drivers Legends mod, I think, that does add all these old drivers. Or like the best drivers from across F1. That might be quite fun to do as well. I'll have a look into mods. I definitely want to do another series. I just don't know what. Collard is 46 and just moved to TDS for real last year. There you go. Well, there are, aren't there? There's quite a few older drivers. I was quite shocked that Fisichella is still racing in GT3 or the GT class in endurance racing. There are older drivers. That's where they go. It's a lot less races, and they're still skilled at driving at that age, and the experience, pays dividends. I think we are going to have to push on these because they're getting far too cold now. And this is where, if the AI are going to swap to dry tyres, this is where they're going to swap. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, there we go. So, I think that's the Sigmatech. Yeah, one of the Sigmatechs has gone on Super Softs. So we'll keep an eye on his progress, but he's going to have to stop again. That's the thing. So, as long as he doesn't get too far ahead of us, we should be okay, but we've still got 40 minutes to come. There's only one block of rain. Ooh, that's what I didn't want to see. Oh, there's more rain coming. I guess we're going to have to stick on the intermediates for the final stint. Or this is going to be tough to judge. Because that's a good 10-15 minutes when the dry tyres are going to be the tyre to be on. Okay, I'm going to need your guys' help on this one then. Okay, folks, no problem, mate. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. I'll speak to you soon, I'm sure. And yeah, enjoy the VOD later on. See how this race turns out. What do you think, guys? There's definitely obviously more rain on the way. The straightforward thing to do is just put inters on for the final stop. And power through that dry spell. The other thing we could do is put dry tyres on when we swap the drivers and bring them back in for the intermediates. Just depends how much time we're going to lose in that little period. But we'll see. There's quite a long way to go before that. Right, now we'll go back to neutral on the tyres. Trummer is all fired up, so let's see if he can make some progress into that gap between himself and Webber. We'll keep an eye on that gap back to that Sigmatech car in fourth then. 19 seconds at the moment. So it is... I was going to say it was coming down, but it's equalising again now. And Kobayashi's just pitted in the Toyota then. And he's definitely going to have to stop again, I would guess. Because I'm sure he's already driven the car, Kobayashi. So I don't think he's going to be able to do an hour. So, it'll be an interesting finish. It could even turn to full wets, right? Depends how bad it's going to get. It's going to be a tricky little finish. I think as long as these two drivers do enough time, then we can... The final two drivers we can swap around. We can bring in for relevant pit stops for tyres when needs be. As long as we put enough fuel in, then the pit shouldn't be too long. If we don't have to change the drivers or change the fuel, or put in more fuel, sorry. So if it's just tyre changes, it will reduce the time in the pit lane. So we just need to make sure these two get to 45 and 42 minutes respectively, which they look like they'll do pretty comfortably. I think we can probably push on that basis. We're a lot closer than I thought to that gap, that time. These two actually don't have to do an hour. They only have to do around about 50 minutes, so... Our tyres should be good, so let's try and keep them in the working range. And let's do one more hybrid save on both cars, and we should be good for fuel till the time to swap over. So everybody's now gone back to intermediates then. That Sigmatech car has now gone back to inters. Oh, we got a little warning on Webber's car. It's the engine. It is the engine. So we might, well, we're going to have to repair that in the final stop then. That's a bit of time lost. But better safe than sorry, I think. Car number 2 looking good though. Webber's car will probably repair the nose at the same time, just to be sure. Yeah, that's going full on wets, isn't it? So we're going to have to bring these two in, change the drivers, change on to intermediates. Maybe even change to dries. We could go dry to full wets, I guess. What kind of lap times is that Porsche doing? Pretty similar lap times, even with the weather as it is. Let's see how these guys are doing in 7 minutes time. Because if they can do a bit longer, I'm just worried about that engine with weather. What do you think, guys? Two choices. Intermediates on these guys and then change to wets with a tyre only stop. Or we put dry tyres on and then put wets on. I think it's looking like dry tyres for that little gap, to be fair. I think that's the best thing to do. Dry section would be about 15 minutes max. Yeah, but the question is, during that 15 minutes, would we rather be on intermediates or dries? I guess intermediates would be better for the crossover to wets. Dries until wets needed. Torn between wets and dries. Yeah, it's tough. I think we put let's go for it. Let's put some super softs on, and then switch to. I don't know. What I'm really worried about is this gap when it's going to be intermediate weather, because that's going to be so difficult on super softs. Whereas on intermediates, that's going to be easily got through. I think we split strategies, so we make sure we get it right on one. We'll put one on intermediates and one on dries. And the first car that will be pitting is going to be Webber. We've got 45 minutes left. Rosberg can do around about 45, so we'll go one more lap. Let's go neutral on both cars. Right, we'll bring Webber in this time around. Yeah, the thing with that transition is that's still around about 10 minutes, which is a long time. It's not just a lap like it is on the single player. It's a lot of time. We'll see. If we split the strategies, we're going to get it right on one, surely. So let's put Nico on the super softs. We're going to fuel him up to the end. We probably don't need 30 this time, so 25 should be plenty. We'll repair the engine and the nose while we can. And then he'll go from the super softs to the wets when it's ready. And then the second car we will put on intermediates and change to wets. I think that way we've covered both bases. That's all we can do, really. I really don't know which is the right strategy. They've both got pluses and minuses, really. Right, in comes Webber. Into the car goes Rosberg. Trummer, I feel, needs to stay out there a little bit longer. Just to make sure we've got that crossover right. Right, out goes Rosberg then. Back out in P6. And Trummer will bring in this time around then. Switch obviously to PK. We'll put the inters on. Same, we'll put around about 25 laps of fuel. With hybrid that should be plenty. I guess we probably go belt and braces. Let's repair the nose and the engine again, just to be sure. 45 minutes is a long time. I'm pretty sure some of the other cars are going to need some repairs towards the end as well. So Rosberg hasn't got long on these tyres, so we may as well push a little bit. He is going to need to use some hybrid mode, but we'll wait till that's further towards 100% before using it. Rear wing's a little problem there as well, though. We'll push for a couple of laps, get the most out of these super softs. Right, car number 2 in. It's going to be a long old stop. I'd expect Rosberg to easily pass him. Does do. There's a smoking rebellion car ahead. Driven by Senna. I think actually Senna's in the Porsche now, isn't he? So that's a Porsche with some heavy repairs. And this is going to be tough then for PK. It's going to be a tough couple of laps. But he can benefit when the rain starts coming down. And he can change over to wets at the ideal time. Whereas these super soft runners are probably going to have to come in a bit early on for the wets, well, very early. And then wait till the conditions are right. Right, car's looking good. It's going to be interesting. Depends what the AI do as well. Are they going to be clever enough to wait for the wets, or are they going to change to the intermediates and then change to the wets again? If the latter is the case, then PK's back in it. If they do wait around for the wets, then PK may have lost too much time here to make this strategy work, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, Rosberg is nicely fired up right in the time that the Super Softs are the best tyres on track then, so hopefully he can close the gap to the TDS car ahead. And we got 2 TDS cars ahead, so we should have the quicker car here, so I think a podium is definitely possible. Right, here comes that rain again then. Right, let's get that hybrid save in. Rosberg is going to lap PK Jr. then. He's off Nico. I mean, he's got, what, another 3 or 4 laps to do at most. We may as well use them, I feel. Evening Football Man, how are you doing? Welcome along to the stream. Right, so now Rosberg is calling for inters, and now PK should be flying. So PK should be catching back up now, so we can probably go to push with PK. His car's actually looking okay. We may as well attack and get those right back up to temperature. So it's just finding the right moment to go to wet tyres for Rosberg now. There goes PK, and this is where he's going to get his time back, being on the right tyres. I don't think there's any point in pushing for Rosberg anymore, to be fair, in these conditions. And now it's all about when we pit for wets. Yeah, AI going on to inters then, so they're going to stop again or be very slow when it's very wet. I think we'll bring him in this time around. I don't think he can lose any more time on these super softs. So we change to wets. No fuel needed. Car looks okay. Rear wing would take 13 seconds. That should last 25 minutes. We're going to risk it. So only a 37-second stop. Bit shorter. And the fact that the AI going on to intermediates plays right into PK's hands, and definitely plays into Rosberg's hands then. So things looking good here. Make sure the car isn't suffering too much. I think maybe we'll go to neutral now, just to keep those temperatures okay. Still got a few more laps to do. Definitely got enough fuel. I don't think we need to save any more, and we can possibly even push a bit later on. Right, Rosberg can be the marker. Once he's done a full lap, we can see if he's quicker or slower than PK, and we can find the right time to switch to wets. So this will be useful information for us. Rosberg definitely doesn't need to conserve anymore. So this will be Rosberg's first full lap, 1:55. So it's still definitely intermediate weather. So it needs to wait a little bit longer. But Rosberg is in a great position here. He's only 70 seconds off the lead, so podium definitely up for grabs. Car number 2 is probably 7th, maybe 6th if we can get a shift on a bit later on and get this change at the optimal moment. 44 for Rosberg, there we go. So it is changeover time. We're not changing drivers, wet tyres. Parts look fine. In he comes. Right, let's push on those tyres for Rosberg. I think we might need just a little bit of extra saving. Actually, no, I think we're fine. Right, as PK goes out, we'll push and use high fuel mode, because he's definitely got plenty of fuel, and use this boost. This should be the crossover point. Yeah, Rosberg just did a 43. So this lap, he should be quicker, hopefully. This is looking good. Let's use that boost for Rosberg, see if we can get him past anybody. He's past Perodo. PK's jumped everybody on the wet, so that was the right lap to do it. And he should jump the Toyota and the Philippi in the... Is that the Rebellion? Is the Rebellion. PK coming down the straight now then. And does get up into 7th place then. He's going to come under some pressure a little bit later on. We've got excess fuel for Rosberg as well, so we may as well push. Car should hold up to it. This is looking great. Rosberg unfortunately couldn't get out ahead of the Toyota. But this is Nico Rosberg. He's the best driver on this grid. So, is that enough to overcome the difference between ourselves and Toyota? On the face of it, no. It doesn't look too bad. PK himself is in a much deeper battle then. He's got the Rebellion just ahead, the Rebellion just behind, and here he is, stuck in the middle with me with no mouse power. Great, bear with me. Nothing strange happened in the race, please. There we go. So we've got to try and keep him ahead there. I think Rosberg is fine. He's not going to catch the Toyota unless they stop again. I think we're okay pushing on both cases to the finish. So let's just manage PK and try and keep him in 6th. He's got a lot of fuel as well. I don't think we go to overtake just yet. I think we're okay. Let's use the boost to defend if we need to. There's a lot of traffic from Menendez behind. It is a Sigmatech, isn't it? Yeah. Is it a Sigmatech ahead? Yeah, okay. Well, let's keep an eye on this gap, but PK seems to have it under control. He's losing a bit of time now that Menendez is past that car. Right, I think Rosberg, we may as well go back down to medium and neutral and just manage this car over the line, because we're not going to catch that Toyota and we seem safe behind, and he's got a couple of warnings, so let's just make sure he gets to the finish. PK is catching quickly that Sigmatech, so if we use this boost right, we can get past here. Now that gap is now opening back up again. Let's use it up the straight, get him close. Is it enough? He's gone down the inside, he's made the move stick, he's up to 5th. Has he got the pace to stay ahead? Engine and gearbox look okay. I think I'm going to use overtake for a couple of laps just to try and make this gap. And then we can settle back down. I think we'll probably go to neutral on the tyres. Although they're easily going to last the end. Let's push. Let's do it. Let's make sure he stays 5th. This is a good race once again. Still 3 minutes to go though. Anything can happen. This is not over by a long shot as well with PK. What about attacking? Is car okay? Car's okay. He can't make up that time. Maybe go back to neutral then. Yeah, maybe it's because we're overheating those tyres. Let's keep this boost for a last lap defence if we need it. So there's going to be at least 2 more laps to go though. Zoom in for the action shout. He's passed. Oh crap, didn't notice. That's not the time to use the boost, but we need to defend from Menendez behind. Signatech's on a late charge here. I don't know there's much we can do to defend. PK stays ahead for the moment. He can get past the lap cut. Oh, boost. Oh, the Signatech's. They're too quick. Still might be an outside chance. Let's attack. The final few corners, there's not much PK can do. Those Signatechs waited their moment. But Rosberg finishes P2. That's a cracking result. We'll take that all day long. Conway takes the win for Toyota. But I'm happy with that. That's some decent points, and that was a tricky race to manage for sure. I think Rosberg's strategy was probably the best one to be on, was to go to super softs to wets. We gave it a go with PK, and he nearly took 5th, so it's not all bad. We'll take those points though for sure. 4 stops from each car shows you just managing the situation, making the least stops possible is the best thing you can do. Evening Cal, how you doing my friend? Hope you had fun in Dirt Rally last night. I know you did. Yeah, we'll take 2nd and 7th, Humbrium. After the good first result, we'll take that. Some good points for TDS that time though. He's going to close the grid back up again. Another terrible race for Porsche though. And one of the Toyotas, 12th and no points then. Who'd have thought that? A Porsche and a Toyota with no points. So that might even be enough to keep us top. It's enough to keep car number 1 in 2nd. Car number 2 drops from 4th to 5th then. And we do just about keep the lead in the championship then. But this is going to be a close season. This is going to be a lot closer than the last one by the look of it. Toyota are starting to recover now. Signatech scoring well once again. TDS have been a huge surprise, and Porsche are 6th then. Incredible. Okay, 2 rounds down, 7 to go. And that is going to be it for today's stream then. Oof. That was a tough one. A lot to manage during that. I wish we'd put the other car on the same strategy as Rosberg. But we'll take it. I think we could have maybe got 5th out of that one with a few more points. But top of the constructors' standings after 2 races, we can't really... We've got nothing to complain about. That's brilliant. We're making money. The car's moving along. We've got some HQ upgrades to finish soon. So everything going pretty damn good. Right, we shall wrap that up for today then. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. In terms of what we got coming up for the week, I said I would, and I'm pretty sure I'll stick to it. I'm going to put another Haas video out tomorrow to make up from the fact that they've been a little bit more spread out recently. So that should go out tomorrow evening at some point. Tuesday, I don't know. Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm not sure. I'll get some kind of video out both days, hopefully. Project Cars, we're going to rerun the last race that got disconnected on this Thursday. So Project Cars will be on Thursday. General Motorsport Manager videos again throughout the week. I might just try and start that new series this week, but it'll probably be the week after. If I do decide to do one, I need to play through some of the mods. And then this series will be back next Sunday. Might be afternoon on Sunday, because I say I'm starting a new job the Monday afterwards, so I don't want to be too late. So I might do that in the afternoon, but keep up to date with Twitter. In terms of the gaming channel, Kingdom Come Deliverance is continuing tomorrow. That channel will continue to have daily videos. So if you haven't gone and checked that out, it would be appreciated if you could, and go and show some support over there. So that's all the other games I don't really want to play on this channel, because I've now made it racing only, so it's some gaming stuff over there. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday and a good week to come. Cheers, Greg. Thank you, Humbrian. I'll see you on track soon, Cal, I'm sure. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining, and I'll speak with you again very soon.